The Monday, March 11, 2024 regular meeting of the City of Paris City Council is hereby called to order at 5:30 p.m. For this meeting, there is a quorum of the City Council present. Items number 2 and 3, Mr. Gene Anderson will deliver the invocation. And the United States Pledge of Allegiance and the Texas Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Mayor Pankich. Please rise.
Okay, we pray. Heavenly Father, as always, we thank you for your blessings upon our country and upon our state and our city. Again, we pray for our leadership here tonight, that you would give them wisdom and understanding, conduct the business that needs to be conducted. Father, we pray that for the troubled parts of our world, Father, that you'd intervene in those and that you might bring peace to those who have not known it. And we just ask, Father, that you'd remember the sick and afflicted, for we ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Item number 4, Citizens Forum. Persons desiring to address the council must limit their presentation to no more than 2 minutes. Unless an item is posted on the agenda, the Texas Open Meeting Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to refer the matter on a future agenda, to an existing policy, or to a staff person with specific factual information. Claims against the city council, employees, as well as individual personnel appeals are not appropriate for Citizens Forum. If necessary, the City Council may convene into executive session under Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code regarding any items of this agenda. The public forum is now open. If there is anyone who wishes to address the council, please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
My name is Brandon Bond.
Okay.
Is that all you needed? All right, so I'm a little disappointed. I thought I was going to be on the agenda today, but apparently y'all met at the last meeting to not allow me to speak again, because the first time I met with y'all was nearly 3 years ago on May 24th to have my land de-annexed from the city. And I was told that the city, I believe by District 3 over here, I think that's my district, that there's 3 things that the city provided to not allow me to disannex. One was police protection, fire protection, and the city don't create keyholes. But what I have experienced last year, to be exact, October 8th, my land caught fire. And out of all the people that showed up, guess who didn't show up? I was promised certain protections from the city, and 4 volunteer fire departments showed up, but not one city truck. And guess what they told me at the volunteer fire department in Powderly? The volunteer fire department said the call came directly to them. You have anything to say about that? You told me. I have it right here. Make copies of it. Your words. The city's words said that. Are you my district? County Road 32900?
You address your comments to the council.
Well, I don't know if I directed anybody in that, but what I would like to say to that is, you know, it's interesting that was one of the big points, was that the city provided me fire. And I have the report on my email. I have 4 volunteer fire departments coming out there, not one city truck. So I would have liked to have presented my case again before the city council and creating keyholes, because I also found out, and maybe this is the citizen forum, maybe actually this is where I get more done. Does anybody on the council know when this land got annexed in? 1988. And so one thing that it says on the Exhibit A of that is, and this is one thing I would ask for the city, since I'm not going to get to talk to y'all and tell y'all how it's illegal that you just took the land and you won't provide any services, especially fire. We all established that, or at least I did back in October. I will ask that the city consider item number 4 on Exhibit A from when we were annexed into the city in 1988, says that all existing streets and roads will be maintained by the city. I don't know the city ordinance for roads. Maybe Robert over here does, and he knows it. But did y'all know that large sections of that county road is gravel? Not up to city code, first of all. Is it time to go? That's 2 minutes. I'll also say I live on a county road inside the city. Can we get that changed? Thank you.
Mayor, City Attorney, can I clarify something? Can I state something for clarification or no?
Well, you're really not supposed to in this portion of the meeting, and it's not on the agenda.
Okay.
Is there anyone else? Okay, the citizens forum is now closed. Consent agenda? Items on the consent agenda are approved by a single action of the council. With such approval applicable to all items appearing on the consent agenda, a council member may request any item to be removed from consent agenda and considered as a separate item. Does any member wish to remove any item from the consent agenda for discussion? Seeing none, if not, I have a motion to approve all items on the consent agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Item number 8, regular agenda, conduct the first public hearing on request for de-annexation for property located at 3197 FM 1497, LCAT number 103254, within the city limits of the city of Paris. Staff.
Yes, you'll remember that at the January 22nd meeting, we discussed this. This is the First Pentecostal Church of Paris, land out there on where their church is, 1497 in the Loop. And we were instructed to go ahead and begin the proceedings. There's a calendar of all these things we have to do, and tonight is the first public hearing of 2. All this is a public hearing. There will not be any action taken at this meeting, and you'll recall that next week we're scheduled to have a special meeting for the second public hearing.
Okay. I will open up the public hearing and ask for anyone wishing to speak about this item to please come forward and state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, I will now close the public hearing. Item number 9, receive the Paris Economic Development Corporation 2023 Annual Report. Ms. Hammond?
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro
Evening.
Tem, members of council. Janice, is there a, that clicker?
Yeah.
I think that's our clicker. Let's see if this works. Thank you for having me this evening. Our bylaws require an annual report to council every year. So this is our report for the year 2023 calendar year. Give me 1 second. Before I go into the highlights of last year, I wanted to remind everyone the core mission of the PEDC. We are the economic development arm for the city and the county. Our mission is to improve the quality of life for the residents of Paris and Lamar County through job creation, retention, and expansion. We do that 3 different ways. 1, by recruiting new business and industry to this community. 2, which is our most important objective, is to keep the businesses and industry we have here today growing and thriving in our community. And 3, fostering an environment that supports startups. So in business attraction, we had a great year for 2023. In March, we announced Universal Fabricating. That company is based in Ontario, Canada. They were looking for a new location, their first U.S. location. We were in competition with Tyler at one point, at Commerce towards the end of this, so it was a highly competitive attraction project. They have 3 core areas: automation, they make large fabricated equipment for 3 divisions: airports, automotive industry, and then they have a greenhouse division. So the jobs and facility here in Lamar County will support airports and the automotive industry. So they announced 100 jobs over the next 3 to 5 years at an average wage of $60,000 a year. I am pleased to report that they have exceeded 75 jobs to date in less than a year. So this is an incredible win for our community. It was the first foreign direct investment attraction project that we've been able to see in at least the last decade. So this is a really big win. Shortly thereafter, we announced Ametsa Packaging. Ametsa is headquartered in Houston. Their parent company is headquartered in Houston. They have 3 divisions in Houston. It's under the De Aldecoa family. They came here from Spain, and so in Houston, they operate the largest whiskey distillery west of the Mississippi. They have sugar packaging as well as coffee warehousing. They were able to acquire the former Skinner facility, and the phase 1 will focus on sugar packaging. They too anticipate creating 100 new jobs over the next 3 to 5 years, and have been they've ramped up very quickly as well. So it's been incredible to watch them grow. And I will note with Skinner closed, I believe, in the fall the year before. This facility was purchased in less than 8 months. So that's incredible. Another tremendous win. Having 2 attraction projects of that scale, it does not happen every day. So really pleased about that. Lions Head was announced a couple of years prior, but we did celebrate their groundbreaking, so that was exciting. Again, that will be 40 new jobs to the community in the PEDC's Northwest Industrial Park. In business retention and expansion, lots of activity in BR&E for 2023. We have a pretty robust outreach program, one that involves PEDC board members, one that I've partnered with Paris Junior College. So this is just a list of some of the companies that we have went out and that we visited with last year. In August of last year, this was our biggest project. And in fact, Hutamaki's expansion really represents the largest existing industry expansion from jobs and capital investment in the last decade. American Spiraled Well was a huge win for the community. That was an attraction project. So if you look at kind of the terms of what was actually announced, Hutamaki from an expansion point of view is definitely equal to that. So really excited to see them expand. Adam Roughton is a plant manager for Hutamaki. He was one of the first individuals that I visited with when I came here in 2020, and he has worked really hard to make the case for the Paris Hutamaki facility. So because of his leadership, we were able to get a shot at competing for this project. It was a competitive project because they have several locations in the U.S. that actually manufacture folding cartons. So this was a really great win. 80 new jobs, $85 million in new construction and equipment. Over the next couple of years, they'll be adding 400,000 square feet of manufacturing facilities. We also celebrated TxDOT's groundbreaking. That is the project that will be going into the Gene Stallings Business Park, anchoring our industrial park. That is going to be a state-of-the-art facility. Another great project that will keep 160 jobs in our community and region. Celebrated Delco's grand opening of their new 550,000 square foot manufacturing facility. Their project actually secured them the PEDC's Industry of the Year Award, which we celebrated last fall at the Chamber's annual banquet. So those are the highlights from those two core areas. There's so much that we do that I don't think the general public realizes that are happening that we don't always talk about. We're always, while we're working these projects, we're also planning for the future. Let's see. Get that slide. This one is really exciting because we're always looking for additional ways to secure funding. Very grateful for the quarter cent we have, but that goes so far. And so we've been actively looking for other ways to support infrastructure improvements in our core mission. And after applying to 2 cycles of the EDA, we were thrilled to hear that they've awarded us $1.3 million from the Department of Commerce. This is a 70-30 match, so federal funding is 70% with 30% local match, and I really want to recognize Grayson in your leadership for supporting that, the Waterline project, because without that, it would have been very challenging for us to find that 30% match, so thank you for that. Have several committees working in the organization. Mark Homer, Josh Brand, Curtis Finley are on the land committee. As you know, we own today with this acquisition about 500 acres of land. We were running into challenges with our large sites because the 2 large sites we have are both rail served, and so when we'd get a request for 100 acres or greater, we were submitting our rail sites to non-rail users, and that would be a complete waste if we had to give that land to a project that was not rail served. And so this, we found a 123 acre site on the south side of Paris and does not have rail, and so now we will be able to use this site for large users that don't require rail. So that was a really important acquisition. Marketing committee, Dr. Hashmi, Stephen Terrell, and Eric Roddy serve on this committee. That committee was busy last year. They help with our social media strategy, but I think the biggest project that they supported last year was the implementation of the brand, and so we're really pleased to implement the new brand in partnership with the city and the chamber. Policy Review Committee also met last year. We evaluated our policies and procedure manual, made some modifications, and as you recall, we also updated our bylaws. So in terms of economic impact, and the economic impact you see in front of you only represents the 3 large projects that we announced last year. So Ametsa, Universal Fabricating, and Huhtamaki. So in total, for 2023, our work supported 480 jobs, $117.5 million in total capital investment, and $23.3 million in estimated annual payroll. So that's a really strong year. And then we always like to look at how we're tracking, right? So over the last 3 years, we have supported 1,300 jobs, over $424 million in new total capital investment, and an estimated annual payroll of about $63 million a year. Any questions? I have a few more slides and I'll go quick. Like to look at a lot of different things in terms of economic indicators. So we track building permits. Trinity Frazier has been incredible to work with. Anytime we need an update on this, she gets it to us very quickly. I think with this slide, I'm interested to look at the numbers from 2024. I think, you can see an increase, right, in the residential new units in 2023 and commercial. So everything before has kind of fluctuated, so it's really hard to tell any patterns, but really appreciate the city's focus on housing and incentivizing residential growth, because I expect these numbers will be larger in the coming years. Revenue trends, as we all know, city sales tax has been increasing since the pandemic. We've had record number years, and so that just shows how we're tracking. Total job growth. Here, if you look at the 5-year change, you can see that Lamar County, and Paris and Lamar County really have similar, right, percentage rates when you look at them separately. So we've seen a 4% increase in job growth, which is great. When you look at some of these counties, like Gregg and Bowie, who have actually lost jobs. Most of that job growth for us has been in manufacturing, which is great because we know that the multiplier effect for manufacturing jobs is greater than most jobs. So that we've seen we've seen a 28% job growth rate over the last 5 years. Employment rate, we're trending at about 4%, which is normal. And this slide looks at average wage growth, and as you can see, we've steadily been increasing from year to year. We've had a pretty big jump from 2021 to 2022. Numbers lag on this, so we're hoping to get the fourth quarter of 2023 any day now. That way we can update, so we can provide more current data, but this is what we have to work with for now. I think that is the last slide. So I think in closing, I just want to recognize my board of directors. They are incredible. They give so much time. So we've had a wonderful 2023, really to their credit and their support. And then, of course, we can't do any of this without your support. And so it's a win for all of us. And so we appreciate everything you all have done to support these projects. We have a lot to be proud of and thankful for. So happy to answer any questions.
Maureen, I don't have a question, but I just want to say good job. I mean, I think council, I can't speak for everyone, but I feel like I can at this point because we're all big supporters. You've kept really good contact with council, and I just want to say you guys have done an excellent job. Keep working hard and keep doing the good thing that you're doing within the city staff, EDC, chamber, and the community at large, and also the county. We've had some really great momentum, and you can see the numbers. It's all proof there that things are happening in this community. So thank you for your efforts. Appreciate it. And little brother should be proud. Thank you for your service to our country.
Maureen,
Yes.
I'd like to say something.
I'd love to.
Nobody asked me
I'm
if I
sure
wanted to
you-
say anything. Nobody asked me if I wanted to say
I'll try to,
anything.
anyone else has anything to say, I know you do, so
Yeah,
please.
I'll just say, I mean, I'm not an expert on job creation and things like that, but over the last 3 years, to me, it's just been an amazing last 3 years. I mean, it's phenomenal to me. It's just all the jobs, in manufacturing, you know, that kind of drives everything. And just creating that many manufacturing jobs in a place no bigger than Paris, Texas, Lamar County, that's incredible. And so, you know, kudos to you. I know you don't like the flowers, but kudos to you and the board, and also the city, county, Chamber of Commerce, everybody that played a part in it. Even your staff, your office staff, they all play a big part in this. So it's just kudos to the teamwork that's going on in Paris, Texas, and Lamar County.
That's awesome.
Anyone else?
Ditto. All of that, absolutely.
Yeah, Maureen, we've had some great wins, and it's a lot to do with the Paris Economic Development Board and their leadership, which starts with you and your board of directors, and as Councilman Savage said, and your staff. We don't want to leave them out. And it just shows how important it is for us to work together as a team and communicating. We appreciate you always communicating with us and letting us know where we're at with things. I think it's interesting that you have your younger brother here so you get these kudos. But we'd like to welcome your younger brother here to Paris and appreciate his service as well. But thank you for this information. Great slide, and we appreciate everything that you all do.
Thank you for all of those comments. You all were involved in all of these, so it was probably telling you things you already knew, but I think it's an opportunity to really see what that looks like. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, item number 10, discuss a request received from the Red River Valley Veterans Memorial Museum to consider expanding to at least add a facility, parking, and provide direction to staff. Mr. Path?
Yes, I'll start this, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Wood if he has any comments he'd like to make. But the Red River Valley Veterans Memorial Museum, they currently lease land from the city at the Civic Center. They have the memorial there. It's a beautiful facility. For those who've not looked at it, it's a wonderful dedication to our soldiers. They have asked, they currently have an office at the Village Shopping Center. They would like to consolidate locations and build a facility to the immediate north of the memorial, or kind of in between the Civic Center and the memorial and just east of the Eiffel Tower. So the purposes of this, as I listed in my memo, is an on-site office as well as a restroom for the memorial site, displayed small donated items in the museum, free meeting space for veteran groups, office space for the DAV Certified Veteran Service Officer. Again, consolidate the locations into one, and then to provide permanent flag storage for their facility, for their usage. The land was deeded to the city by PJC, so we did revisit the deed. It required some communication with PJC to verify that no issues would come of this. The legal team at PJC came back and said no issues with this, so we are good to proceed. We did, obviously, since the chamber has a vested interest in the Civic Center itself, they currently manage it for us. We did talk to Paul Allen, the chamber director, and he supports this project as well. And so we did also have a little kind of a pre-meeting with everyone involved, just kind of talk some initial ideas. And so some of the things that brought up was, obviously we'd like to have a facility that kind of aesthetically fits in with the Civic Center and the entrance of the memorial. We also talked about kind of keeping in place the existing dumpster location, which is what it needs to be at for the Civic Center's usage, with their kitchen right there. RV spots there the Civic Center uses, and also to follow all codes, which their current lease are requires of it. So otherwise, everything has been good, no issues that we've heard from anyone. So tonight's goal is just to seek your guidance. Before the group spends any money on design or engineering, we want to get the council's thoughts on potentially expanding the lease for this purpose here. And obviously, if you were to say no, then it's done. But if you say yes, then we'll get started with negotiation for extended lease, expanded lease, as well as the Veterans Memorial will get started with design and other expenses. So, Mr. Wood, do you have any comments you'd like to add?
No, sir, and I'd like to thank Mayor and Mayor Pro Tem and the City Council for having us here tonight. I don't have anything else to add. We will make it proud for you. We will make it look good, and we are getting lots and lots of visitors after we put our static displays. Get lots of people from out of town. I mean, out of the country even. I can't even begin to tell you how many out-of-country visitors that we've had here. So if anybody has any questions, I'm here to try to answer those.
Thanks, Memorial is great. Thank you for everything you do. The building will be right behind the #1 photo op in
Correct.
Lamar County, so I guess just needs to fit in. Want to make sure that
Yes,
that
sir.
process
We
and
are.
communication will be there.
Yeah, it'll be a stucco type design, look very similar to the front of the memorial. It'll blend in well. It'll look very similar to what's on the memorial and the Civic Center.
Any other questions?
I don't have a question, but I will confirm, my gosh, the amount of people that come from out of this state and just around the town. I mean, they come and they really enjoy what you guys have put together. And I want to say, man, we always hear the raving reviews when people come back to our businesses and they say, man, this is awesome. You got a real jewel here. So I just wanted to provide that feedback to you all. And I'm sure you guys will do a fantastic job, but I'm sure it's much needed. So I'm in support of it.
Okay.
Mr. Wood, do you have a start and completion date, roughly an idea about what that would look like, please?
Probably roughly a year. Just a good guess. don't really know for sure. I mean, we'll have to do some dirt work and so on and so forth to prep the ground, pour the slab, and our kind of vision is to build a 3,000 square foot building to start with, because it is going to be an expensive project, and then come back a few years later and add on and add another 3,000. 6,000 is the max that we can have without any kind of sprinkler system.
Yes, sir. Well, as a veteran, I certainly support this, and I'm glad that you brought it to our attention and didn't give up on the project. So we certainly appreciate
Currently,
that.
we've got veteran organizations that meet everywhere
Yes,
around
sir.
the county, and this will give them a home.
I'm
place
one of
where
them,
they
so
have a
I
computer
understand
and a printer
completely.
and so on and so forth.
Yes, sir.
So if there's a consensus, then we will move forward with Mr. Wood and the Veterans Memorial Group.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wood.
Thank you.
Item number 11, discuss and act on the ordinance of the City Council of the City of Paris, Texas, repealing Article 12.04 Solid Waste of Chapter 12, Utilities of the City of Paris Code of Ordinances, and replacing same with new Article 12.04 Solid Waste. Yes, sir.
Mayor Pro Tem, City Council, our current solid waste ordinance, it pertains directly to solid waste collection by City of Paris. And as you all know, residential collection was started February the 5th by a contracted agency. Starting September the 1st, that will also apply to commercial customers as well. So those being the case, it required us to amend our existing ordinance, and the city attorney has drafted these amendments to accommodate both residential collection and commercial collection. So I'm letting you know that we won't have to come back in September and amend the ordinance again. So what you have before you is an amended solid waste ordinance for third-party collection.
Is there any discussion? Wait, will I hear a motion?
So moved.
There's a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries.
Thank you.
5-0. Thank you, sir. Item number 12, discuss and act on a 90-day moratorium for the 5 and 5 housing infill development program. Mr. Vine.
Mayor and Mayor Pro Tem, members of council, good evening. A few years ago, the City of Paris adopted the 5 and 5 housing infill program, and it has been an outstanding program since its inception. We have a total of 25 houses with 9 agreements. When all of those agreements are done, we will have a total of 75 dwellings. Even if you have a World Series winning baseball team, you're going to make sure it gets better. This is what we want to do with this program here, is we want to look at this program and make sure that it's the best that it can be. There's a housing assessment currently being performed by a third-party vendor, and we expect that those results will be in April. And what staff would like to do is to look at those results, and then also some of the things that we have noticed already through this program that could be made to tighten up the structure a little bit, give it a little bit more control, the city more control, and then also give the developers more ease of use, make it easier for them to understand, and also speed up the process. So our request is to put up to a 90-day moratorium on this. Just hit the pause button. There are currently 3 applications. I think the memo accidentally said 2, but there are 3 that are in process. One will be from Adam Bolton, will be at next month's or the end of this month's council meeting, be brought to you, and the other 2 are from Invest Fandon, and they will continue to be processed. But what we would like to pause all future applications until we're able to come back to council with our recommendations based off of observation and based off of fact and data from the assessment, the housing assessment that we're going to get. I'd be happy to answer any questions or concerns that you might have regarding this issue, or this item, excuse me.
Is there any discussion?
Well, I'm in full support of granting this moratorium. You know, I don't think it's any secret that I've had some questions about the 5 and 5 process. But, yeah, I think it'd be a great idea to step back, make it better, make improvements, and just see what needs to be done.
Yes, sir.
I agree, and I think it's been a long time coming to kind of have a thought process, a bigger thought process, that we bring everyone together and kind of understand a little bit more and see what we can do to better, to have better outcomes and figure out, hey, where do we want to see the future of this program? I think it's a great program. I think we've seen some successes, which is wonderful. But like you said, it's always good to get better and to grow. And so tweaking things here and there and figuring out, hey, where do we want to go with this is definitely warranted. So I'll try to jot down some ideas and thoughts also, because I know that previous council member Knox, I know she was here and she had thought about a couple things too, and so definitely want to bring some light to some of the things that we had some ideas on and figuring out how we can implement. Yes.
Any other comments? Like my other colleagues, I do agree for a pause. I mean, I've wanted an update or a status of where we're at with the 5-5 program for some time, and I think the timing is right now, and we can assess it off the housing survey or housing assessment. I think that'll give us a better opportunity and understanding where we are with things. So I fully support that.
Okay. And I would also add that out of this assessment, we have the opportunity to, we have 2 current in-house or infill programs. Under that umbrella, we could have multiple. So what we could do is just adjust it to just a portion of housing. So we have that opportunity, and the assessment will tell us which way to go. So we would recommend honoring or providing this as temporary suspension, and our goal is to bring back an even better product.
Okay, is there no further discussion? Will I hear a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, sir. Item number 13, receive a presentation about the events of the April 8th, 2024 eclipse. Mr. Vine.
Mayor and Mayor Pro Tem, members of council, I'm back. Talked about the eclipse. Staff, I'll make this as quick as possible. Staff has been meeting for over a year, internally, with county, with chamber, and a little with PEDC, not much, but just with other agencies and amongst ourselves to talk about how do we get prepared for the eclipse. Obviously, it's on April 28th. We are in the path of totality. You can see it here. We are where the red arrow is. We're not quite on the line, but we will have 4 minutes and 3 seconds of darkness in the middle of the day, which is rare. When people are wondering why we get excited, because it gets dark every night. Well, yes, it does, but it's not supposed to get dark during the day. We do anticipate quite an influx into the area. We have heard numbers anywhere from 15 to 50 to 75,000 people. I personally have 2 individuals coming in from Alberta, Canada to stay with me. So if everyone has a few people come in, imagine what our population could look like. And those are the ones we know about. So expected visitors, traffic, impact on local restaurants, impact on fuel providers, city services, and then impact on business services as well. These were all the things that we took into consideration. Of course, as a city, we're first and foremost, we're here to take care of our citizens. But we also want our visitors, when they come in, to have a good, pleasant experience, so when they leave, they want to come back. Working with the Chamber of Commerce, they partner with Dead Cat. This is their landing page for their website. It does have a lot of information for events, so if you're outside of the area or even inside and you want to know what the events are, you can go to their site, and I'll refer to that at the last slide. We also have information on our city website as well. For our preparation efforts, like I said, this began over a year ago. We had a public education forum with Dr. Sherrod. I believe that was in September of last year for the public. In August of last year, he put on a separate one just for city staff. We've had planning meetings with emergency management, not just city, but countywide, first responders, TxDOT, Lamar County Chamber of Commerce, the medical facilities, school districts and PJC, hotels, motels, Ministerial Alliance, and different providers such as grocery and fuel. Again, we can't make them do, we just give them the information. We're suggesting that you staff up. We're suggesting that you get more groceries. We're suggesting that you get more gas. It's your business, but we want you to be prepared so you can help serve the city as well. Some of our preparation efforts. No city employees will take vacation during that time unless previously approved. We need all hands on deck, and at the bottom of everybody's job description are other duties as assigned. We're going to find out what some of those are. Some non-essential services may not be available on April 8th. 20 portable toilets have been ordered to supplement facilities and parks. Our trash trucks that we used to use to collect trash throughout the city will be placed in strategic locations to help with the trash. That's probably going to accumulate in different portions of the city. Increased staffing, specifically in your first responders. Water production, there's plan to fill the in-ground or all-ground and elevated storage tanks ahead of time. And the Emergency Operations Center will be stood up. By standing up, that means we're going to open the doors, put people in there, and we will have instant action plans prepared for each day. So everyone's on the same page. And then we'll also have our own supply of fuel, diesel, and unleaded for city staff. Preparation efforts, again, we talked about the public, actually, I think we went the wrong way.
Wrong way.
You don't want to hear me talk about
I want to
that
hear that again.
City preparation efforts, PIO John McFadden has created some public information messages that are already being played on radio stations. If you have not heard them, they sound great. Also, if you're coming into town, working with different businesses that have the little messaging signs, tune to this channel, and you'll hear John's voice giving updates on either events or watch for one-way streets to make people who aren't familiar with Paris aware of different things here. Talk about weather, parking, and different events like that. Currently, we have an interactive map that is up and running on our website. It's for the public. You can click on it. We'll show where parking is, where activities are, where viewing is, parks, different amenities like restrooms. That will be updated as we get information coming in. Also, there's a behind-the-scene behind-the-scenes map that is only available for first responders. So if Chief wants to get on there, he can get in there and see where all the events are and a little bit more information. But the public at least has the basic information. And here are the two websites. The top one is ours, paristexas.gov/eclipse. And then the bottom one is the Chambers through DeadCat, ParisSolarEclipse.com. Major contributors, definitely want to mention Assistant Chief Randy Tuttle, Emergency Management Coordinator, Main Street Manager Sherry Bedford, and then, of course, Public Information Officer John McFadden. So be happy to answer any questions that you have. It's not an exhaustive presentation, but we want you to know that we as staff have been preparing the best we can.
Questions?
I had one quick question. Obviously, everyone's going to be staffed up, and it's going to be tough. And I know our first responders are integral in this process. Is there a list of items that folks can donate to them? I know, like I've talked to a lot of county officials, and a lot of their VFWs and all the first responders are trying to get together and put a list together of what we can donate. Some of them are manned 24/7 throughout that time period, and so they're going to be sleeping there and trying to take care of themselves and snack. But if there's a list, if there's someone that out in the public that can go out and kind of pick things that they can donate, is there a list somewhere online, or can we come up with something?
Not yet, but we can definitely generate one.
Okay, great. Because I know we have a really giving community, but boy, it would be great to be able to provide for those that really got to put in that sweat equity to make sure that the city keeps going. So.
Okay. You generate that. Thank you.
Other questions or comments?
Does the city have any oversight on pay for parking, creating parking lots, pay for parking, so?
We will not.
Okay, all right.
There are several people that are taking advantage of the opportunity.
But I encourage you to let the chamber know, because they keep that list and they can put it out if you decide to do something.
I will note that we do have a council meeting that night as well. And so I'm not sure if the city council would like to continue that meeting or not. And I will say, not to get off topic, we do have our Phase 2 bond to be awarded that night. So it's a $40 million council meeting.
So what time is the eclipse exactly?
You go back to the second page.
It's a
Second slide.
little after lunch, isn't it?
I think it ends at 3, yeah.
It ends at 3:05.
I don't have a problem with having a city council meeting then.
Parking's only $10.
And we can reschedule, but we've already kind of put our notice to our financial agents that we're looking to close on a bond and award a bid for our wastewater treatment plant that night.
Since you put it that way.
Can we move it one day? Or does it have to be on that day?
We can talk to them, and so we can try to move it a day. That we've announced that to people, but we can try to amend that if we need to.
The day after?
Whatever y'all want to do.
I'm open to any day. I mean, I'm going to be here either way. I have a feeling some employees are probably not going to be wanting to work, so.
No, we'll be here. But.
Yeah.
They'll be here, yeah.
Well, can you, do we have to vote on that now, or do we?
No, yeah, we can make it the
Check
next
with
agenda
the-
item. Yeah, I can check with them just to see
Just-
if that's going to hurt anything.
Yeah,
But
just do that, and then we'll
Yeah.
we'll go from there, if it's all right with the council. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Warner. Item number 14, convene into executive session pursuant to section 551.087 of the Texas Government Code 1 to discuss or deliberate regarding commercial or financial information that the government body has received from a business prospect that the government body seeks to have locate, stay, or expand in or near the territory of the government body and with which the government body is conducting economic development negotiations, or to deliberate the offer of financial or other incentive to business prospect described by subdivision 1 as follows: retail development. The time is 6:16 PM, and the city council is convening into executive session. The time is 6:51 PM and the city council is now in open session and there is no action taken. Item number 16, does anyone have anything? Consider future events for the city council and city staff pursuant to resolution number 2004-081.
Just remember the quick meeting next Monday for the public hearing on the disannexation.
Does anyone else have anything? Item number 17, I heard a motion and a second to adjourn.
So move.
We adjourned.